Welcome to She Needs Grit. I'm your host, Samantha Varner, profit coach and founder of She Collective. I now run a successful coaching practice, and I'm here to share all that I've learned through my 14 plus years of experience in financial services, public relations, and profit coaching, so you can apply it to building or renovating your business. Profitable businesses are created with just 4 ingredients: grit, confidence, strategy, and simplicity. This podcast is a combination of conversations with gritty entrepreneurial women and no fluff ways to create profit in your business starting today. If you're ready, grab your caffeine and let's get started. Hi, everybody. It's Sam, the host of She Needs Grit podcast, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about how to design your life the way that you want. And business is only part of that. So let's get started. I am sitting here in this podcast booth and thinking over some of the conversations I've had in the last little while. I've been doing a lot of public speaking and a lot of getting in front of audiences and having some feedback around that. When they ask me things like, well, no, I need to have my phone on me all the time. I need to be connected. I need to be available. I won't get clients if I'm not available and answering the phone at all times or checking my email or whatever that means to you. And I've gotten really confident in my answer, which is, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. You decided to be an entrepreneur, which means you decided to build a business from the ground up. And that can look however you want it to look. I would argue that building a business that requires you to work 24/7 or be completely at the beck and call of your clients is probably not the life that you wanted to lead. So let's talk about some of the things that are required to build your dream life. And I think one of the first things you need to think about is that it requires you to not start with the business. It requires you to go deeply into the values that you hold dear in your life as a human being. So not as a business owner, not as a mom, not as a wife, not as any of those other titles you might have in your life, but instead as a human being. What do you value? What is most important to you? What lights you up and makes you feel like you're thriving in your life at any given time? And from there, once you determine what those things are, what are the most important things? I'm sure that at this point, everybody has heard the concept of you have a vase or a vase, depending on how you say it. And if you have gravel and water and little pebbles and big rocks, and you try to get them all in there, if you put in the smallest things first and then try and pile in the big rocks, it won't fit. But if you put in the big rocks first, and then the pebbles, and then the gravel, and then the water, it can all fit. But you need to decide on the big rocks. Now, that's not a concept that's coming from me, but what I think we somehow get lost in is building our businesses, building our lives. We get distracted by all the little pebbles and the water and try and jam it all in without considering, are we actually focusing on the big things? So I know that I had the absolute pleasure of going through an experience with a coaching friend that I knew, and she walked me through my values exercise. So this was years ago now, but what it was really taking a number of different words, right? A whole deck of cards almost of words that were associated with values and determining what those were for me. And everybody, as she said, everybody's deck looks different. Everybody's values are different and come in different priority order. But what happens is we sometimes get into that stage where we muddle through life and we don't actually evaluate A, what our values are, B, are we living to those values the way that we want to? And if we are not, how can we make that change? And I think that in order to build the life that you want to live, right? The life that you're proud of, the life that excites you, and therefore the business that excites you, you need to know what are those big rocks. So maybe take a second and jot down what are those for you. And I think there's some in there that are common rocks that we all have, hopefully. for this audience, I'm going to assume that you have the value of integrity, that you have the value of honesty, that you see those as values. But there's some other ones that maybe aren't as big of a focus for you that are a big focus for me. I really look to achievement. It's one of the reasons why I'm super motivated in sales positions I've had in the past, because achievement and seeing my name at the top of that list was always something really important to me, as is excellence. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it to the best of my abilities. That's really important to me. But what are those values for you? And how can you build your life and build your business around those values that you have in your head? Do you even know what they are? If you don't, take the time, figure out what they are. Maybe figure out what they aren't. Building a business, building a life, being intentional with the way that you are going about your time here on this earth, in this moment, in this body right now, will have grave effects on how well and how satisfied and how successful you feel. And I know for myself, I have big goals in my business. But more importantly to me, I would like to have big goals that I hit or achieve in my personal life, right? As a mother. Now, can I guarantee that my kids are going to end up doing all the things that I want them to do? No, it's not like that. It's not, I want them to achieve a certain thing and therefore that somehow will be related to me. That's not how it is. But what I do have goals around is, what kind of relationship do I want to have with my kids? What sort of interactions do I want to try and have with them more than not? What sort of relationship do I want to have with my spouse or my friends or my family members that are external? All of those things mean that when I design my business, I am absolutely carving out time to make those people in my life feel like a priority, to pay attention to how they're doing and how their emotions are and how they are needing me or needing me a little bit less, how they need me to be engaged. Those things are very important. And therefore, that dictates how much time I spend in my business, how much time I want to be in front of clients or creating podcasts or writing content, rather than being with my kids or being with my spouse or my family or my dog, all the people, right? Kind of feel like my dogs are people too. So that's just one piece of it. But I do think that that is the first piece of the puzzle. And from there, I think what you do next is you work towards figuring out if those things are my most important things. Then how do I make sure my life is designed to support that? I participate in a networking group and I am loving it. And every month we do a different activity. And the activity for November, now that we're just at the beginning of December, the activity that we went through in November was a gratitude activity, right? So what are the 3 things you're most grateful for in your life? The next question blew me away, as did probably my answers. What are 3 things that you're most grateful for that you take for granted? And the number of people in that room that had 3 things in that top line and took for granted those same 3 things was astounding. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, what 3 things or people or areas of your life do you absolutely find gratitude in? Are you so grateful they exist? And are any of them falling in that category of, I'm very grateful, but I do take them for granted? It's the time of year where we start to reassess everything, right? You're getting ready to enter a new year. And I don't know about you, but there's something so great about that. There's the fresh start thing, right? We get a little buzz of that for a Monday, but we certainly get it when it comes to a new year. And now is the time to assess and reevaluate and determine, what parts of our life do we love? What parts of our life do we not love? What parts of our life would we love if they looked differently? And to create that for ourselves. So you do that for the big picture. You do that for the big rocks. And then the way that I help my clients and the way that I recommend you think about your business is that it gets to fit in there, but the development of how you do things in your business, that gets created as a little rock. How much time are you going to spend doing a certain activity? How much time do you want to devote to family time over business time in a day? How many hours are you willing to be available on the phone or email or text for your clients? You can build it however you want. And to be very honest, people respect those boundaries. They might not like it at the beginning, right? You are going to have some pushback, but you can say, I don't work on the weekend. I will respond within 24 hours. We are in a way of life now where we have basically computers in our hands, right? Our cell phones have become something that is accessible to do. I can do 97% of my business on my phone. But does that mean I need to be doing my business every hour of every day that my cell phone is within arm's length? It absolutely does not. And I would argue that that doesn't make you a happy person. It doesn't make you love your business and love your life if you feel tied and always obligated to be on, to be performing, to be doing your business the way that you could because it's there. Instead, if you set the boundaries and say, I work from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m., or whatever that looks like for you. And within those confines, I answer emails twice. I go on social media to be actionably posting. And I choose to go on social media to watch Instagram Reels or whatever it is for fun at the time I designate for fun. But when I'm in my job and I'm doing my work, I'm there, I'm posting, I'm commenting, whatever I'm doing, and then I'm putting it down because I'm trying really hard not to fall down the rabbit hole of social media or the rabbit hole of I felt like I worked all day long and I have nothing to show for it because it was actually just a whole lot of Instagram scroll. Now, I sound like I'm saying this from somebody who's never done that, and I promise you that is not the case. This is an action that I need to kind of reassess and rebound to all the time. I, like everybody else in the world, is easily distracted by all of the things that are available, but I know that if I focus on and pay attention to what are my values, how are they showing up in my life, how has my amount of time gotten a little wonky compared to what my values are, if I keep my kind of eyes on that more often, I do better. I do better. I don't do perfect. I actually don't believe perfect is a thing, but I do better. And I can gently redirect myself back to what I'm trying to do and trying to achieve day in, day out. And I get closer to the goal, right? So I want you to really think about it. Is this in your life? Is this happening? Are you feeling like I'm up early and I'm up late and I'm distracted when I'm trying to deal with the kids, but really I'm kind of still trying to post on social media and I didn't get this much done and I'm still struggling over here? Is that you? If that's you, it's okay. First off, be gentle with yourself. This is hard, okay? And some days are better than others. But also know that if you spend time and be attentive to this, it will have massive benefit in your life. You will achieve more of what you're trying to achieve in a shorter time frame because you are focused on the reasons why. Doing things because that is your value. Doing these things because you are deeply driven to do it as a passion means you focus and you pay attention to the reasons you're doing it, your why, and it gets it done better. So I know this podcast today was a little ranty and a little bit, hopefully a little bit of thought-provoking. But I was thinking about that today and I wanted to share it with you guys, knowing that we're in that place, right? So if your list of values or your list of the 3 items that you find most valuable and you're most grateful for, if you feel like they may also be on that neglected list or the take for granted list, I want you to think about that and know that the joy, the absolute joy of being an entrepreneur and your own boss is that you get to reassess things. So if that means you wake up tomorrow morning and you say, okay, I'm doing this differently. My priorities did get a little distracted. I'm going to refocus myself. You're in control. You get to do that. You get to do that right now. And you get to do it every single time you need a little redirection. So I look forward to hearing from you. Reach out to me, email me, tell me what are the things that you're working on? What are the values you're working on? Are you having trouble in this area? Let me know. I look forward to the conversation. Thanks for listening today. If today's topic is one you know you struggle with, I invite you to book a free profit call with me and share your struggles, your goals, and together we can decide how coaching with me could be the way to shift you into a profit maker. The best way to book this call is either go to Instagram at Samantha N. Varner, that's SamanthaNvarner, or go to https://bit.ly/free profit call and book your call today, and let's get you moving towards being a profit maker in your business. Thanks again for joining me, Samantha Varner, in this episode of She Needs Grit. Let's talk shop again soon. If you like this episode, hit follow, share with a friend, and leave me a 5-star review in your podcast app. Every review means other gritty women just like you find the show and grow their profitable business today. I invite you to connect with me on Instagram at Samantha N. Varner, or just pop over to my site at shecollective.biz, and that's .biz with a Z or a Z if you happen to be in Canada. I'll be back next week with more so you can create confidence, clients, and cash in your business with simple strategy and none of the drama.